reading the Daily Word. The word today is love. I openly give and receive the gift of love. According to the Apostle Paul, the greatest gift of spirit is love. Spiritual love is deeper than romantic love and stronger than family love. It is an unconditional love and acceptance for all of life. As a divine being, I am always in the flow of love. I see it in the sun that shines on my face every morning. I receive it in a delicious breakfast and from my dog or cat showing affection. I am embraced in warmth, acceptance, and bliss. There is nothing I must do or be to receive love. I open my heart and say, thank you. As I receive, I also give. I see God in others and show them love. I accept and love them deeply, without conditions. I openly give and receive the gift of love. And now faith, hope, and love abide. These three, and the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13:13.
I have a joke for you. What'd you get when you mix good and love?
What?
A glove, because love keeps you warm and so is a glove, so.
By the way, he made that up himself. He told us that last week, and so I said, okay, our message this week will be love is like a glove. And these kids make that stuff up on the spur of the moment. They don't sit home and think about it and then come back the next day and go, I have a great idea. It just flows. And I think we all know where it flows from, right? And I am the luckiest person in this place. Now, if someone has won the North Carolina lottery recently, you might be a little luckier, but I am the luckiest in what matters in life. Because I am surrounded by these beautiful souls every single week. And I don't do that. Actually, I thought I was going to smirk a little bit when I said that. But you will see today the joy that they bring to my life. And to tell you the truth, we're lucky that they have parents that see the value in the unity teachings. Needless to say, I grew up very differently. And so I grew up with a lot of fear. These guys grew up with a lot of love. We're going to, every Sunday we get together and we say to each other, we see the Christ in you. We're going to do it a little differently today. I'd like for all the kids to come up, please. Here's the way it's going to go. I would say, my name is Dina. I am lucky. And you respond by saying, Dina, you are lucky. So you understand, right? We'll start with, you want to start? Start with, this is, just pass it down.
I am Cruz and I am happy.
Cruz, you are happy.
I am Rachel and I am loved.
Rachel, you are loved.
My name is Kea, and I am creative.
Kea, you are creative.
My name is Anthony and I am awesome.
Anthony, you are awesome.
My name is Paul, and I am silly.
Paul, you are silly.
My name is Emily and I am outgoing.
Emily, you are outgoing.
My name is Nicholas and I am talented.
Nicholas, you are talented.
I am Jag and I am surprised.
Jag, you are surprised.
No one is going.
You don't have to. Okay, sure. How about just your name? Just your name. Okay, hold on.
I am awesome and Claire is lost.
This is Amari. Say, Amari, you are awesome.
Amari, you are awesome.
Thank you, kids. Now, I would like for you to turn to a neighbor and do the same. Introduce yourself and tell them, I am.
I'm relaxed.
kids have some messages they would like to give to you, and all of these words are their own. Some I've heard and some I've not. So we're going to start with Paul.
I'm going to tell you a story. And before I do so, I'd just like to say something most of you probably don't know, but I'm actually a really emotional person. I just like to hide it and bury it deep inside so no one can see. So if I get a little emotional, it's just me.
And it's okay.
And I'd like to say another thing that most people don't know about me, only a few probably, or maybe like 10, but I'm adopted. And I don't really have technical parents right now, but my parents, for all intents and purposes, are Lori and Jake over there. And my story takes off back when I was little. I was raised by a really young mother, so she wasn't very mature. And she had my oldest brother when she was 16, and me when she was probably like 20 or so. And things weren't going really well, so I was taken away. And before I was taken away, my mother was really cruel to us. She was on a lot of bad stuff, and she beat us with belts and stuff. But then we went to a foster home with this lady named Becky, and she was actually really nice, but the only reason why I didn't work out with her because we were actually really naughty. So, in fact, I was pretty bad. What I've been told by my brothers is that I was actually really smart for my age. They'd like lock stuff up in cabinets and stuff, and somehow I'd get through and open it and get all the food that's in there. As my parents know, and my brother and sister, I love to eat food. And taking it further, I was officially adopted when I was 6 years old, but before that I was taken into a family by my parents that share the same last name, Deb and Bob Seitz, and that's where I get my last name. And they had to have like a really big heart because they already had 5 other children, 3 that were adopted, and the fact that they were able to adopt 2 more, 3 more, was just amazing. And it was going pretty well. I was like an evil child, so my brothers were too, but they weren't as bad as me, and they were older, so they were able to mature faster than I was. But apparently my parents got a little annoyed and I did something pretty terrible, and it ended up in the separation of me from them and all my brothers and sisters, and I ended up going into a foster home for 3 years or more. And apparently I was still pretty bad because they got tired enough to the fact where they gave up their fostering license because of me. So that didn't end very well. But the gist of the story, the fact that it's about love, is because I've known Jake and Lori since I was 5 years old. I know them the day I was with my other parents, and they've been nothing short from love. And it's their love is the reason why I'm here right now, and they are the reasons that I'm down here, and I got to meet all of you. And I just want to tell them that I love them.
Paul used the word evil, but he knows That's just his cool word for what he knows is just finding his way. Okay, that was the one I hadn't heard. So, so forgive me for not being prepared for it. Paul has been such an asset to the youth department. He helps me on a weekly basis, and sometimes even though he's worked till 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll still make it here and help me out regularly, and I so appreciate it. Next, we have Emily's going to come up and speak. This was written by her sister, Rachel.
Hello, my name is Emily Luton, and I will be one of your speakers for today. Today we will be talking about self-love. This is what I feel. You cannot love anyone until you learn to love yourself. Remember all the things that you think are bad about yourself. Bad teeth, big nose, or the pinky toe and your nail goes straight up. These things don't define who you are on the inside. Therefore, they don't define you. Self-love isn't always there. Sometimes you have to work for it. There were times I didn't even like the inside of myself. But I learned that it's not about the imperfections. It's about the parts that shine. Anybody can be a star, shining brightly when others see you, but not everybody can be the sun. Warm and bright and always there. We all carry the weight of our own world on our shoulders. And sometimes we can't see past the oceans that never seem to end, and sometimes the weight can be too much. We see ourselves as we think we should be, but self-love is about looking at who you are and knowing that's who you should be. There is a French sentence that goes, Les deux rues divergent à la sortie du village. And it means, the two roads go in different directions at the end of the village. Life is about walking through villages, and at the end of those villages, choosing a path. Not all paths are easy, but each one leads to another village. Once you leave a village, it disappears behind you, only to live in your memories. Paths can leave you broken down and tired, and you can forget who you truly are and why you're here. All you need to remember is the things on the outside don't define who you are on the inside. If you believe you're beautiful, then all the beauty of the world is yours. If you believe you're strong, the weight of your world is no longer noticeable. If you believe you're smart, then nobody can tell you otherwise. Beauty is not looks. Beauty is the will to move forward when nothing seems to be getting better. I think we all want to be comfortable with who we are. I think that it's not what other people think that gets us so down or gets ourselves so worried, because thoughts are just thoughts and words are just words. I think that it's not that we look for other people's approval or for other people's kindness, but we look for our own thoughts, our own words, our own approval, our own kindness, our own understanding. But we look for these things in other people, because in some crazy way, we're all connected. And in some twisted way, we're all looking for our own comfort with ourselves. Because if you notice, if you're comfortable and happy with who you are, you couldn't care less what other people thought about you, even though you weren't looking for their thoughts in the first place. You were looking for yours. Thank you, Rachel, for writing this amazing piece.
Have you ever been outside, hiking, enjoying the day when the weather turns gray and rainy? It feels good at first as you cool off, and you think, oh, this will just pass, and it makes it nicer for the moment. But then the wind starts blowing and it gets cold. Soon you're shivering and wet. Now it's not so nice. And you think, the Weather Channel stinks, and now I'm miserable. But you need to make your way back home. You keep going, feeling colder all the time, and you're exhausted. If only I'd clicked my heels 3 times and I'd be home and dry. But no magic slippers, so you just keep plodding along. Just when you can see your front door, in your fatigue, you trip over the uneven sidewalk and fall right into a mud puddle. Now you're muddy, cold, wet, and your knee is throbbing. You finally open your door in great relief, and even better, you take off your shoes and feel your wet, muddy socks off. You head to your room, where you struggle out of the rest of your sopping wet clothes. After a nice, warm shower, you get in your most snugly comfortable clothes and fuzzy socks, and you curl up on the couch under a blanket with a cup of hot cocoa and your dog cuddled up beside you. To me, this is what love feels like. Don't you just wish you could bottle up this warmth and contentment? Oh, wait a minute. That's a great idea. Let's bottle it. Then whenever you're feeling a bit down, you can just sprinkle yourself with love. Or if you see someone else feeling down or having a rough time, you can just sprinkle love on them and make them feel better. Like when my friend's mom passed away recently, I would have loved to have been able to sprinkle that loving feeling on her. But wait just a minute. We can. We can sprinkle our own kind of magic love on people. We just don't call it that. We call it kindness, love in action. So the next time you see someone who needs some love, pretend you are shaking that loving feeling on them. Does anybody have an example of how love changed a situation? While you're thinking about it, I'll share one of mine. When I was at camp last summer, one of the girls in my cabin and I really did not get along. I don't know what it was, but we rubbed each other the wrong way. It was really challenging for the first few days. We would argue over pointless things. I was going crazy. After those first few days, I realized that I was really focused on every little thing that annoyed me. So I started trying to focus on the positive things, like how funny or kind she was. And it really helped. When she would do something that annoyed me, I would focus on something that I liked about her. When I focused on the love, everything changed in our relationship. Now we are great friends and we see each other really often. So does anybody have an example? Yes.
My name is Ellie and I'm a new member, and this is my example. When I used to see the people on the side of the road with the cardboard signs, homeless or unemployed, please help, I would be really angry with them and go, there's nothing wrong with him. He could go get a job, or he's just going to go buy drugs or alcohol. And then when I started praying and thinking about it and meditating, it came to me, I don't know that person, I don't know his history, and I don't know what's going on in his life. So I prayed to the Great Spirit, to God up high, and God said, Ellie, when you give them $1, that's between me and you. What they do with the $1 is between them and me. So don't worry about it. And now when I see the homeless people, I'll go all the way around the block just so I could be on the right side of the street to give them $1 and say, praise the Lord, or something positive in their life.
That is a great example. You never know what is going on with other people, do you? So always keep your bottles of love and contentment on hand.